this is going to be a good episode. I have a feeling. I have a lot of things to say today, so I think we just need to get started right away. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Basement Birds 2025. We're back.
You say that like we post this the first week of January. This episode's coming out in early March.
I know, but we've recorded every single week so far. I think we should go for 52 out of 52 weeks this year. I think we should try not to miss a single week.
I agree.
Right?
I
Because
like
we
that.
haven't missed a week yet, correct?
With the
I don't
new
think
show?
we did. We're correct. Yeah,
I don't
with the
think
new,
so,
Well, no.
yeah.
With this calendar year, 2025.
Oh,
Previous years
yeah,
we've
yeah,
taken
yeah.
weeks off for various things, but I don't think we've missed a week.
Well, let me go back
Yes.
and look to see the last one that we would have missed would have been around Thanksgiving. We took a week off for Thanksgiving.
Probably. Yeah.
I'm looking at it. I don't know if it's probably, but
Oh, okay. Well, last time was Thanksgiving. Glad you're tuning in with us to pretty regularly scheduled programming. Logan and Reid, I'm in my basement. Reid is in his living room. It's been
Yes.
busy lately, Reid. I don't know
Yes.
if you felt the same way, but
yeah, it has been a little busy.
we're full into the 2025 year. Being
Sure are.
working at a school. We're well into the academic year. A lot of activities going on at work. Most recently, this past weekend, I had the honor and the privilege of emceeing a fundraising event for one of the colleges at the university that you and I both attended. For those of you that don't know, what makes a university a university? Do you know the answer to that question?
Isn't it supposed to be that they offer like master or doctorate degrees and stuff like that?
No. What university is compiled of different colleges.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. Yeah,
multiple
yeah.
colleges make up a university. So, like the College of Business, the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, that kind of thing. This was for the College of Communication and Humanities and Fine Arts, and so it was a fundraising event, and so they had
Yes.
a little bit of a program at the beginning that was mostly just consisted of me talking on the stage, which was a lot of fun in front of a sold-out theater space, and then there was actually so many people they had to open up an overflow room where they had
Yeah,
a
I
live
saw
video
that.
feed.
That was interesting. I
So-
didn't know they were going to do that.
Well, they I don't think anticipated selling that many tickets, and so
okay, gotcha.
they
How
sold
many-
out the whole theater.
How many people did you
And,
say were there?
Well, the theater seats 270, and
Okay.
there was, I think, just a few open seats. Obviously, there's like a seat here, a seat there, but I'd say about 260 at least in the
Wow.
theater, and then I think
That's very
there's about 30 to 50 in the overflow space. So
Okay.
well over 300 people attended this event. It was a lot of fun. It was the first time in a long time that I've gotten to speak on a stage in front of that many people. I'm sure I've spoken in front of that many people before via live stream, but it's different whenever all the eyeballs are in the same room as you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was well. It went well. I had a very sparkly, bright jacket on. One of
saw
my
that.
favorite
Where did you get that from?
pieces of attire. I ordered it online. I had actually
Okay.
I ordered one from China. That one had arrived. I wasn't sure if it was going to come though, so then I ordered one from Amazon. Actually, I ordered two from
okay.
Amazon because I wasn't sure what size I was going to be. I figured I could return the other one.
Sure.
It was a late game move. It was a late addition to the lineup.
I see.
Was this sparkly red jacket? So
I see.
ended up going from having no sparkly red jackets to having three of them. So two of which are in the process of being returned. But yeah, it was. I got to kind of introduce some of the acts. I got to introduce the dean of the college, which was really cool.
Oh, yes.
Interact with a bunch of alumni, which was fun, and it's I think expose a different side of my personality to a lot of the people that I work with, because I think a lot of the people didn't realize that that I had this kind of skill set. We'll call it. I like to call it a skill set. I don't know what other people would call
Yeah,
it, but
okay.
it's not. I mean, it does. It's not a lot of skill. It's just speaking a little bit.
Yeah,
But
it's a skill enough, I'd say.
it was fun. It was I read from we had a teleprompter set up, so that was kind of an interesting experience. I've only ever read off a teleprompter into a camera. So working
Oh,
off
this
a
was like a
teleprompter
floor-based one.
on we had two monitors on either side of the stage, probably
Sure.
like 10:30 and 2 o'clock.
Okay.
In front of you, right?
I
If you're
gotcha.
looking at
Yep.
if
Yep.
you're thinking about the clock method.
Yep. It's
So
tough. I learned how to read an analog clock or a digital clock, but that's okay.
yeah. And so that was kind of different. I felt bad for the teleprompter operator though,
Gosh.
because I tend to when you read from a teleprompter, I don't know. You've done some teleprompting, correct?
Yes,
Reading from a
yes.
teleprompter.
Yep.
It's kind of a weird experience if you've never done it before because you
Yeah.
have to read, but you also have to make it seem like you're not reading, but you're looking a lot of times right into the camera, right?
Yeah.
Because the teleprompter is in front, like on a reflection in front of the screen. So when you're reading, you're just still looking at the camera, but it sometimes just people can tell that you're reading. So I like to tend
Yes.
to interject my own thoughts into the script, which has
sure.
pros and cons.
Yes.
Because
You got to ad lib a little bit.
you ad lib a little bit and interject a little bit. It also seems that like it flows a little better. Like I had a couple people who came up to me after and were like, did you memorize all that or how did that work? And I was like, I was just reading from the teleprompter. Like you couldn't tell I was reading from the teleprompter? They're like, no, we really couldn't. I was like, well, I interjected a lot. So
Yeah.
again, the way a teleprompter works also, at least in this situation, was it was operated by someone else. So someone else was in control of my destiny, how fast
Yes.
the text was scrolling. It doesn't just, they try and keep up with you.
I say, but if you have a good operator, they should be able to follow along and kind of gauge your pace and, work in tandem with one another.
Right. And so
If they know what they're
that
doing.
worked out. Right. And no, and they did, and it worked out really well.
That's good.
I think that was a nice addition to the show. Instead of just standing behind a podium, because then I could stand in front of the podium, interact with the audience a little bit.
Like you're doing a TED Talk.
It was actually, and they had the TEDx event on the same stage that same week. So
Okay.
last week was the TEDx event. They had to paint over the big red circle they had on the stage, and they painted it all
paint
black.
that circle
but
down?
They do.
Ah.
They do.
Thought it was like a big sticker or something.
Oh no, that's how theater works, man. They repaint that
That's true. They
stage
just paint everything.
almost
yeah.
a few times a week. I mean,
That's true.
That's all. That's like a theater
Is it ever
thing,
dry?
Yes.
Is it just
it
in a
does
perpetual
dry.
state of wet paint?
It basically is.
know,
But the
it
theater
never- it
people
never
were great.
dries
A
up.
funny little anecdote about it was I went to one of the early planning meetings for this event.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of right after they decided I was going to MC. And jokingly,
Yeah.
one of the theater people was like, "Oh, what do you want in your dressing room?" Trying to. Because they knew I wasn't going to have a dressing room or anything like that. It's just,
Yeah.
it is
You're
what
like,
it is.
oh, funny guy.
And I was like, oh, well, I could really use a bowl of green M&Ms. You ever heard that? The green
Yes.
M&Ms thing?
Yes.
Was that Van Halen who did that, I believe?
That sounds right.
Who, for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, when bands and a lot of people, comedians or whoever is coming to a venue, they provide something called a contract rider. It's all the things that they want
There you
and
go.
expect from a venue. And I believe it was Van Halen who, deep in the bowels of the contract rider, said that they wanted
The
a bowl of
bowels.
just the green M&Ms in their dressing room. And a lot of people would say, well, why, you're just being, a kind of a smart guy. You're making some intern pick through all the M&Ms, get all the green ones or whatever. But the reason they did that was because then when they came into their dressing room and they saw the bowl of green M&Ms, they would know, okay, this venue really looked through the contract rider. We don't have to worry about anything. They clearly took, read all the steps, read everything that we required to to put on the show. But if there's no bowl of green M&Ms, then they know that, okay, we need to go step by step and check everything that the venue did, because clearly they did not read the contract rider that we provided them. So that's kind of the story behind that.
Well, let me tell you, you got half of that right, okay? It was Van Halen.
Okay.
But the part was that there should be no brown M&Ms.
Okay. Well,
which is even more interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, take out all of the brown ones, but then give us all the other ones. We don't want the brown ones.
Yeah. Well, I think my favorite color is green, so I think that's kind of where that may have evolved to. But theater people came through. They ordered a custom bag online of just green M&Ms for me.
That's
so I had a nice big bag, apparently, because they just ordered a bag of green M&Ms. Yeah, they just ordered. They got a whole bag of green ones for me.
That's insane.
So that was pretty cool. There was also, people, they made some jokes about needing a juice box or whatever, and so they got me some apple juice and stuff.
That could be a little bit more your speed.
Yeah, so there was they had a whole little table for me backstage that they put my name on to make it all official, and then right on top of it was a candelabra that tied it all together. You know what a candelabra is? Like like an old school haunted mansion. It's a thing that holds like a bunch of candles on it.
Yes,
you'd recognize it. You'd know what I was talking about if you saw it. But
yeah. Gosh, don't let this all go to your head.
No, well, I wasn't. It was just a lot of fun, and people were having fun with it, and it was a cool event too, because after the program was done, they kind of opened up the stage and raised the back curtain, so people could, they opened one of the bars was on the stage. Then they had some darts that people could throw backstage, and so
did you do any darts? You're a big darter.
I did. One of our other friends, Patrick, was there.
Yes. How many times did he hit the wall?
He's not bad at darts, actually. He did pretty well.
He put the pillow the last time we played darts.
Well, that's because it bounced off of the board. But
sure. Okay.
Him and his girlfriend actually beat me and Nicole in darts. Fun fact.
Wow.
So,
wow. Patrick's, you couldn't carry Nicole hard enough?
Apparently not. But it was a good time. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the next MC event that I get to do. So
there you go. Absolutely.
I actually just talked today with the people from the Special Olympics Illinois about the plane pull event, where they have a teams that pull a 737 jet, and they just asked me to MC that again.
That'd be cool.
So be back for year number 2 of that, which will be fun as well.
Absolutely.
But fun times, crazy stuff happening lately.
Crazy stuff.
Actually, you know what else happened? Speaking of crazy stuff, my dad.
Yes. Oh gosh,
getting into more trouble.
Every time you start a sentence with "my dad," I always get scared because I never know what you're about to say.
Well, you've met him in person. He's crazy.
Yes.
We're actually looking at wedding DJs right now, and we've told every DJ, you're not allowed to give him the microphone. Whatever you do,
I thought you were going to say that he suggested being the DJ.
Well, no, he suggested being the one to marry us, and we shut that down immediately.
Oh boy,
because that would not go well. But
that could be interesting.
He tells me, he's like, "Oh, you're never going to believe what happened to me last weekend." I was like, "Oh boy, here we go." So apparently, this is as he tells it, and again, I wasn't there to witness this. But I tend to admit my mom was there, and she seconded the story. So
okay,
he's not the kind of guy to just make up stories like this, right?
Sure.
He's a rather serious lad, we'll call him.
Yeah.
So he went to the mall recently, and he went there to buy a new suit because he decided that he needs a new suit. And so he went to a local mall. Maybe. I think he's got a couple weddings coming up, and he goes to a lot of funerals and wakes. He knows a lot of people, so a lot of people die. So he ends up going to a lot of those.
Okay, yeah, I didn't really know where that was going at first, but yeah.
So he goes to this local mall, and this mall just a couple years ago, someone was unalived, we'll say, just for YouTube purposes, unalived
Could
in
you
the mall
expand on that?
via a handheld projectile firing device. And so again, they don't like the word. They can't say the word. So that's the kind of mall we're
TikTok
at
doesn't
here.
like it. Are we putting this on TikTok?
Well, YouTube doesn't like it either. So
Okay.
What am I trying to say? Oh, so he's at the mall, right?
Yeah.
And recently, a big thing with malls lately, I've noticed, at least in the Chicagoland area, has been for children, and adolescents at a certain point, like on weekends, and I believe after like 5 or 6 o'clock. They're not people under 18 have to be supervised by an adult. So that's like their new thing. They've increased police security presence at malls lately. Just I feel like since COVID, it's become a bigger thing. And so so he's at the mall or whatever, and they go up the escalator, and as he's going up the escalator, he just happens to see, the police officer with the dog there, and the dog is the German Shepherd,
Yes.
or whatever kind of dog the police dog is, and he doesn't think anything of it, and so
Gosh.
he gets off the escalator and is walking, and all of a sudden he hears like some jingling behind him, and he notices the dog is like sniffing around in his legs.
Oh,
Right? He's
what'd he
kinda
do?
sniffing around, down here, and all of a sudden the dog lays down, like right next to my dad's kind of like, "What's going on?" The dog lays down. And I don't know if you know what this means.
That means they
but
found
when
something.
the dog
So now out comes
lays
5
down,
cops. They lay your dad out, just and then they take him off to jail, and you haven't seen him since.
basically.
Did I get
no,
that right? Okay.
Well, close. So it turns out this is a gunpowder, like an explosive dog sniffer.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so the dog lays down, and my dad and the person handling the dog is like, "Do you have any firearms, sir?" And my dad's like, "No, he doesn't. He doesn't carry a gun or anything."
Yeah.
And so they're like, "You mind if we
are you
pat
sure?"
you down?" And so they pat him down, do all this stuff, and he does not have any. He has nothing that he's not supposed to have.
That's good.
He's just an everyday law-abiding citizen. And so they start asking him all these questions like, do you work at a gun store? And he's like, no, I don't. And he's like, do you own a gun? And my dad's like, no, I do not. And
Oh my gosh.
then he's like, well, where do you work? And he's like, well, you might have something on your shoe that the dog didn't like. And so the dog said that you have some sort of explosive device, but you don't. And we just checked you don't. So there's a little false positive there on the old canine test. And so,
Oh, good Lord.
my dad's getting literally pulled over in the mall by
Yeah.
some like mall security guy. It's like
Yes.
Paul Blart Mall Cop over here on a Segway. Getting pulled over with the
Paul Blart Mall Cop. Oh, gosh.
Paul Blart over here with his German Shepherd sniffing people
Yeah.
up, and not amounting to anything.
Gosh.
So, moral of the story is always abide by the law, and if you get
Yeah.
pulled over in a mall by Paul Blart and you didn't do anything wrong, they're going to let you go. They're not going to tackle you to the ground. Paul Blart
That would have
will
made
not
for a
have
more exciting
hyperglycemia
story, though.
attack. What?
That would have made for a more exciting story, though.
It absolutely would have. It really would have. But
This one
again,
was kind of
leave it to
tame
my dad
compared to your dad's other ones.
well, it is. and which is a good thing because he's
Not good for the pod, though.
the past couple weeks that I've seen him, his go-to comment is, I'm not giving you any more content for the podcast. I'm like, but that's what people like, Dad.
No way he said that.
He does. He says it almost on a weekly basis. It's unbelievable. I mean,
him just saying that is giving us more content, though.
It really is. So he's at a
feeding the beast
lose-lose
and he
situation.
doesn't even know it. Yeah.
And he offers these stories up to me. It's not like I go begging for, hey, what crazy stuff happened to you this week, Dad? He's like,
hey, Dad,
you're never going to believe what happened.
Oh, my word.
So, but speaking of weird things, odd news.
Yeah.
And there were some weird, odd things happening in Illinois this past week, Reid.
Mm-hmm.
They going on right now in the state of Illinois is the Illinois State Hockey Playoffs. Illinois State Hockey Playoffs for high school, for travel, and for pretty much all the major issues concerning hockey in Illinois. Mm-hmm. And your odd news this week is not brought to you courtesy of the regularly scheduled odd news source. This is from A-High Hockey Illinois. The Amateur Hockey Association of Illinois brings you this odd news segment. In a bizarre turn of events, the Illinois State Championship trophy was stolen from an ice rink on the north side.
Oh, God.
Stolen. So a lot of times in these tournaments, they'll have the trophy just kind of on display in the lobby. They have a picture, a screenshot, or a picture of a screen. First of all, this is really rough. Can I share my screen with you?
I think so. I think that's possible.
Share.
If you can figure it out. There it is.
You see this?
Yep.
You see this right now?
Yep.
So this picture of a screen, and this is the guy who's walking out with the trophy. Okay?
Oh my
Are you kidding me?
gosh.
You're going to walk out with the trophy? He must have felt bad about it because this was
That is
international referee news. Let me tell you something. International referee hockey news. I'm on all the referee hockey sites.
Yeah.
And
they were all talking about
Facebook groups, and they were all talking about this guy, this Karen, whose kid must have lost or not gotten enough ice time, and little Johnny wanted his trophy. So
I love how
Dad
the
goes
leading caption of the show is, "Do you recognize this man?" And it is the back of his head.
Do you recognize this man? Did any of your local friends show up with the state hockey trophy?
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
But
are there any updates on this? Have they found it yet?
There is. So the next day, in a bizarre turn of events, the missing trophy was recovered after being dropped off at a local pro shop at one of the local ice rinks. No note, no anything explaining why the person took the trophy. So it was just found sitting outside the pro shop when they came in. So in the middle, under the cover of darkness,
how far
this thief came and returned the stolen goods.
How far is Morton Grove from Mount Prospect? How far did this thing
close.
move?
They're both kind of north suburbs. They're not
too
far away from
each other. It moved. It's like it showed up an hour away. That would have been something.
Yeah. So apparently authorities are still working to identify the subject.
Oh yeah, they're only 20 minutes away. That's no fun.
Yeah. So fun times. It is incredible. It's a wonderful little anecdote for odd news this week. I think it's a little different odd news story, but I think it's hilarious.
You know what is not wonderful though, Logan?
What's that?
Okay, you're sitting on an airplane, you're in for a long flight, and you have the urge that you have to use the restroom and the seatbelt sign's on, okay?
Oh gosh.
That's rough. You know what's even worse though?
What's
having
that?
8 of the 12 toilets on the plane being clogged. Okay, that
First of all,
happened recently. This was an
What
Air
plane has
India flight.
has
12.
12 toilets?
A big one.
Yeah.
A big one.
Apparently.
So this happened with Air India, and they have asked passengers to stop flushing closed down toilets. So
What?
this happened. This would have happened on the 11th, so yesterday. They're urging travelers to use lavatories only for purposes they are meant for, because there was a flight to Delhi that was heading to Delhi, and it was returned to Chicago because 8 of the 12 toilets became clogged. It was about 5 hours into its flight from Chicago. Oh, excuse me, this was last Wednesday, so a week ago today, when the decision was made to return to Chicago as a result of these. They said once the plane landed, workers discovered the clogs had been caused by flushing items such as plastic bags, rags, and clothing items. A spokesperson for Air India said that they should use these just for the purposes they're meant for. And they said that the Chicago flight was only the latest in the series of a toilet clogging incident on the carrier's Boeing 7, this is a 777, so a very big plane. They previously addressed toilet clogs caused by blankets, innerwear, and diapers, among other waste. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
The silver lining, though, okay, passengers were provided with hotel accommodations and alternative flight options. So, they did help them
more like
out.
the brown lining, but
Yeah, but don't flush random stuff down the plane toilet.
yeah, I don't.
Hey, don't do
first of all, have you ever been on a 777? I've never
have
been on
not,
a plane
no.
that big.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's big.
I only been on 737s, a few 27s, and then one like
Yes.
prop plane when we went to Canada.
I think
But
Boeing, or the 777 is Boeing's largest plane. No, it's the largest twin jet airliner.
it's a big plane.
Fun fact. It's a big boy.
It is. It's
It
a
looks,
massive plane.
You see pictures of it, and it looks like a 737, and then you see it next to a 737, and it is it dwarfs the 737.
It looks like a 737 got stung by a bee and is allergic, and it just like everything is inflated. It's great.
That's a good way to put
But
it.
I still, I can't believe it has 12 toilets on there. That to me
that's
is
kinda crazy.
the most amazing part of that whole story.
Yeah.
And where else but Chicago? You know what I mean?
Right.
I was
Yeah, a little bit
gonna
too
make the
much
joke that
Portillo's with the cheese fries,
there are too many Chicago style hot dogs
Yeah.
clogging up
Something like that,
them
yeah.
toilets. But people
The
should
Chicago
just
dogs, they get to
stick
you.
to putting waste in the toilets. I guess I don't know why.
I guess so.
Why would so many people feel the need to flush various objects
This
down the
happened
toilet?
only
I don't know.
5 hours into the flight as well.
But then
You
they
know?
decided to turn around and go all the way back to Chicago. So then they fly
Yeah.
5 more hours to Chicago?
I guess so.
Oh.
I don't know. You think let's think about it. When you fly to India from Chicago, do you go east or west?
Oh, God. Nicole's running around in the back. What are you doing? Oh. Okay. Well,
I want to
sorry.
look how these flights fly. It looks like they do go west or east. You go
'Cause
east.
they're going to the other side of the planet, right?
Well, I didn't know if it would be quicker to skip the date line and go west, But it appears they do go east because you could follow the jet stream, and get there.
I see.
It looks like.
Well,
Very
good thing I'm
interesting.
not a pilot deciding
Yeah, right?
how
I'd
flight
make a
patterns
wrong
should
turn.
be.
Yeah,
Yep.
that wouldn't be good.
Well, you know where is not a wrong turn, Reid?
Going to our
is
social media.
going to our social media. You took the words right out of my mouth. We here at the Basement Birds Show pride ourselves on having all sorts of social media platforms for you to keep up with the latest happenings of the
Yep.
Basement Birds podcast. Reid's going to tell you about which platforms those are right now.
Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and YouTube. Basement Birds. Boom, find us.
At Basement Birds. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to your favorite weekly episodic podcast. My name is Logan Cap. That's Reid. Hi, Reid.
Hello.
We'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.